Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to this. This right here is another episode of 10 years ago, a series where we look at pay-per-views from, guess what, 10 years ago. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell by the title, tonight we're going to be looking at WWF Backlash 2002. Before we go on, let's bring you up to speed with two big things. A lot of stuff happened between Backlash and WrestleMania 18, but the two big things came out. The two really big things are what I want to discuss, because one of them I have to go into a bit of detail. The first one is Stone Cold Steve Austin. The week after WrestleMania, Stone Cold basically essentially walked out of the company for 2 weeks in the middle of the draft, which we'll talk about in a second. This meant Austin was getting burned out. He wasn't happy with the direction that the character was going in at all. For example, Austin had been booked at WrestleMania to lose by a cheeky roll-up to Scott Hall, and the company were completely, not having that whatsoever. This meant he wasn't available for the draft and was a free agent. He came back the week after the draft and was signed to the Raw brand by Ric Flair. Let's talk about the draft. That's the main thing I want to talk about before we get on with this vid. The draft happened 2 weeks after WrestleMania. Basically, Ric Flair was reinstated as a co-owner of the WWE, and basically the brands were split. Raw went to Ric Flair, which I thought was weird at the time. You'd think that Vince would want Raw, but Vince got SmackDown. And basically what they decided to do is to split the brands into two, split the roster into two halves, and they wanted to run it. It's kind of like Raw and SmackDown in competition with each other. Now, this was nothing new. They wanted to do this before the Invasion angle. They wanted to have WCW as a separate brand, and just various things, namely the Invasion angle being fucking terrible. They never got around to doing it. Basically, at the time, I really thought this was a good idea. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? We can all see. I mentioned this on Facebook earlier. I said, what were the bad points about the bad, etc.? And loads of people put brilliant comments. If you haven't already, add me on Facebook, by the way. Links down there. Just while you've got a moment. It'll open a new window. You can add me and then come back to me. Everyone's happy, aren't they? Yeah, but anyway, the great points that the public put were, all the bad points about the branding station, but at the time it seemed to make sense. What it meant is that the superstars got more exposure because they were only on one brand. The promotion focused on each of the brands more. So you didn't have, if you wanted to see Triple H, you had to tune into Raw, for example, to see your favourites. And what it did is it shook up the roster quite a lot. It gave us fresh match opportunities. It meant like teams like the APA and the Dudley Boys were both split up, which was good because both teams were stale as shit at the time, And yeah, Spaz Phoenix put this point, which was that WWF even must have thought we were stupid to treat them as competition. But I think over the next year or so, especially in 2003 when they started having separate pay-per-views, it were seen as, you had a favourite one, didn't you? You either what you preferred. I mean, we all watched them both still, but you preferred one over the other, I do believe. So anyway, let's talk about let's actually have a look at the draft. There's 20 people were picked on the draft, and I want to talk about this because it's more some of them either didn't make sense, and a lot of them, once again, the benefit of hindsight, within the next year, I'll go through. I'm getting confused. So the draft, as I say, Vince McMahon was GM or whatever, controller of SmackDown, and he got the first pick in a coin toss, and he chose The Rock, which is lovely because he was going to be going off to shoot a movie within days, which is not. I mean, I understand you want to pick one of your biggest stars, but whatever. Ric Flair's first pick was The Undertaker. Now, he'd just finished feuding with The Undertaker. In fact, was continuing sort of to feud with The Undertaker. Made a bit of a weird choice, I thought. Angle went to SmackDown. The NWO were drafted to Raw as a complete entity. After WrestleMania and Hogan turning face and everything, the NWO comprised of Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and they brought X-Pac in a whoop-de-frickin'-do kind of moment. Pick number 5 was an interesting one because it was Chris Benoit, who hadn't returned from his neck injury yet. Kurt Angle pressed this one. He wanted Benoit on SmackDown, which was an unusual one. Kane went to Raw, Hogan to SmackDown, RVD to Raw. Billy and Chuck went to SmackDown. They were the tag team champions. They were able for at least the first couple of months, if I remember, to defend the tag team championships on both shows, which was nice. Booker T went to Raw, Edge to SmackDown, Big Slow to Raw, Rikishi to SmackDown, and then, what I was talking about before, they split them up. Bubba Ray Dudley was chosen for Raw. Now, by Ric Flair. Ric Flair had every intention of getting Devon as well. Vince McMahon, being a spiteful bastard, chose Devon, thus splitting up the Dudley Boys. Oh no! Brock Lesnar went to Raw, Mark Henry to SmackDown, William Regal to Raw, Maven to SmackDown, and Lita to Raw. Lita, who broke her neck, what, 2 weeks after this and was out for the next year or more? That's an interesting one. She was the only diva as well who was drafted, which is funny. The rest of the roster were split in two, but they were all done on WWF.com, I think it was. Near announced there. What, as I mentioned before, Austin was a free agent. He was chosen afterwards. I don't remember, so I'm asking you guys to comment here. Why wasn't Jericho drafted? If you're on Wikipedia, the site that never lies, don't forget, it's got a list of the entire draft, right? And Jericho is number 25. And I don't understand why that is at all. Anyway, I've rambled for long enough. 9 matches to get through, 5 of which are championship matches, and we will start with one. As Tajiri defeated Billy Kidman to win the Cruiserweight Championship in a pretty damn fantastic match, to be honest. Some people could say this was a squash match because Tajiri got a whole fuckload of offense in. Billy Kidman didn't get a lot in at all. He hit some nice stuff. He hit an absolutely stunning, oh God, what's it called? Oh, I haven't written it down. Is it a Radian bomb? It's a sit-out powerbomb off the top rope, basically. Absolutely stunning move. Tajiri's an evil bastard, isn't he? I mean, those kicks that he throws are just all kinds of wrong. But as an opener, 2-star match, absolutely fantastic. Bomb off the top, gets 2 for Kidman, like I say, really, really close, near 4. He goes for a second bomb, but while he's got Tajiri up in midair, Tajiri sprays red mist into his face, falls on top, hits a kick, gets the win. 9 minutes and 7 seconds. Really not a bad match at all. Like I say, I'd happily give it 2 stars. You know, it's one of 3 really good matches on this show. Next, though, what a shit one. I've been talking about doing this show on Facebook for quite a while, saying, God, there's one match I'm really dreading it, and that's Scott Hall versus Bradshaw. And yeah, this one didn't disappoint at all. Absolutely horrendously bad match. Hall has X-Pac with him. Let's just explain this one. X-Pac comes out with Kane's mask on because a couple of weeks earlier they'd done an injury angle with Kane. Kane had torn one of his biceps, I think. So they had the NWO attack Kane, and X-Pac ripped his mask off. Whoop-de-doo. X-Pac comes out wearing the mask. Yay. Did anyone expect Bradshaw to be, when they chose Bradshaw as the new single star, we broke up the APA, we're going to have Bradshaw be the single, he's going to be Austin's best mate and all that. Did anyone expect him to succeed at all? Because I know I sure as fuck didn't. Matches, I mean, what can we say about the match? Fruit comes out because Hall's got X-Pac with him, so it's, evens the sides and all that. Match ends when, Scott Hall, oh man, looks absolutely hammered in this match. I just need to point that out. Anyway, Bradshaw hits the clothesline from hell, goes for the cover. 1, 2, X-Pac puts Hall's foot on the rope. Fruit comes over, grabs fucking X-Pac, smashes him into the ring post. But while all this is happening, Bradshaw isn't trying to pin Scott Hall on at all. He's just staring at X-Pac and falls victim to a low blow and a roll up from Scott Hall for the win. Absolutely terrible. Jazz defeated Trish Stratus in a 1.5-star match to retain the Women's Championship. Molly Holly attacked Trish before the bell. The match was okay. It's just nothing special. It's a standard women's match from this time. It's not like a Divas match today where it's just, it's going to be either a dud or a half-star if you're lucky. 1 to 1.5 to maybe even 2-star matches were quite common with Trish Stratus, Jazz and Molly Holly. Later on, Gail Kim and whoever else was added to the roster like Victoria, they helped bolster up. Brock Lesnar defeated Jeff Hardy in an okay match. It's maybe a star because it doesn't really do much. This match is purposely done to set up one thing, isn't it? And that's to create Brock Lesnar's aura of being an absolute monster. He absolutely obliterates Jeff Hardy. Jeff gets so little offense in, but when he does get it in, Brock just completely shrugs it off. Jeff hits the Swanton bomb. Brock Harmon's kicks out at 2 and hits him with 2 power bombs. And then Paul Heyman's punish him, hurt him also, picks him up and does a spinning power bomb. Referee stops the match. I don't get this. What I don't get about this one is Jeff has always been one of Vince's favourite guys. He always was. He was always very protected. So what that means is that Jeff actually got too much offense in this one. I know I've just said that he hardly got any in, but compared to, they're trying to make Brock Lesnar just an absolute beast, and Jeff got too much in, I think, personally. But yeah, Brock I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Comes out to funny music, though. I have to just mention this. Comes out to generic rock 7. Yeah, that's what I'm sure the track was called. No, it's weird. Bearing in mind that we've just seen him on Raw a week ago. It's weird to not see him with his kick-ass music. You know, anyway, the music we know and love. Next, Kurt Angle defeating Edge in a superb match. 3 3/4 stars. This one. I'm going to go through this one move for move for you, if that's all right. If it's not, just skip a bit. Everyone's happy. So, this one's settled by Edge defeating Angle on Raw. Angle has hacked Edge and cost him a match in return. Nice and simple. So, match starts off very, very back and forth. They go to the outside, brawl a bit. Inside, leg lariat by Edge, but a German suplex by Angle stops him in his tracks. The crowd are all over Angle. Shout, Angle sucks, Angle sucks. All through this one. They really are, and I like that. Angle stomps a mud hole and fires off chops and hits a lovely belly-to-belly suplex for 2. He hits another one, but then it locks on a bloody chin lock. God damn, I bloody hate him. Another German, but Edge hits one of his own. Edge hits his own belly-to-belly. He follows up with a forearm, a high body drop, and an impaler DDT for 2. A Bulldog also gets 2, and he heads up top. But Angle, in one of those, I love it when he used to do this. Runs up the turnbuckles and hits a super belly-to-belly suplex. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. Edge counters the German, and in one of those nice little bits of psychology, Edge figures out a way to stop the German suplex. So Kurt grabs him and hits 2 more German suplexes. No. This is how you've countered one, but I can still do this. Launches him with a German. Absolutely fantastic. Love that. That's great storytelling. Edge comes back with a German of his own that dumps Angle on his head, though. So it's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Love that. Edge dumped the outside. So Edge can cross. Angle's dumped the outside. Sorry. Edge can cross body him off the top. Back inside, Edge with a missile dropkick, and Impaler is countered into an Angle slam for 2. Ankle lock, but Edge counters into a roll up for a close 2 count. Kurt gets a chair, goes charging at Edge. Edge moves out the way. Angle bashes the ropes, hits himself with the chair. Yeah, I'm looking at that, but also out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that Edge is fucking limping off the ankle lock, and you're like, yeah, love it. Psychology, love it. Absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. Edge hits the edge of match. He gets another close near 2. Another close near 2. That doesn't make sense, does it? Another close near full. Hey, good work, Brain. We got there in the end. Edge sets up and goes for the spear. As he runs at him, Angle kicks him in the face. Absolutely brilliant. An Angle slam, gets the win. Absolutely fantastic. Edge's best singles match to date. By a country mile, probably. 3 3/4. If you want to go 4 1/4, I wouldn't object whatsoever. I really enjoyed that one. Speaking of enjoying the match, I enjoyed the next one. First, though, Eddie Guerrero. That's the match, dickhead. Chris Jericho comes out and does a very bitter promo about him not having a match on the card. Whoop-de-doo, get on with it. Eddie Guerrero defeating RVD in a great match to win the Intercontinental Championship. Now, so there's a backstory here, which of course was that Edge was in the last one. Not bad. See, we've got brain in gear just for a second, but no. Eddie Guerrero was released from the WWF on the 12th of November 2001 after being arrested for drink driving. He hadn't been seen on TV for months and months, like back to May time, I think it was, because he'd gone into rehab for a painkiller addiction. He was released. He walked on the independent scene, got himself clean. He wrestled on the first ever Ring of Honor show, which is called The Era That Honor Begins. The Era of Honor Begins, something like that. He also had a great match that I've seen recently in IWA Mid-South against Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. That was a really great match. He returned on Sunday. He returns 1st of April, Raw. It was RVD versus The Undertaker. Winner got to face the winner of the Austin versus Hull #1 contendership match, which we'll talk about in a bit. Eddie cost RVD the match. There's your feud set up, and away we go. I'm going to go through this one as well because it's very, very brilliant, and Eddie's my hero. The issue here, before we go on, the issue here that Eddie has is RVD using the frog splash, which is a great little thing. I've got no problem with that at all. Just before I go on, actually, as well, one more thing. They talk about on the commentary, King starts to say who was the first person that you saw use the frog splash, and he's expecting Jim Ross to say Eddie Guerrero. But Jim Ross, in brilliant style, says, well, that'll be D'Lo Brown. Let's get on with it. So, and I've got a lot of notes from this one from talking about just that. So where are we? Van Dam gets the early offense, including a monkey flip and a leg lariat. Eddie comes back with a dragon screw, but gets speared in the corner. Kicks and a standing moonsault get 2 for RVD. What the fuck does that say? That looks like flak tower. What the fuck does that mean? What's a flak tower? Flak tower. My right. God, it's awful. I have no idea what that says. Flat tower gets 2 for RVD. I need to start typing these. I'm not going to, because it takes me longer to type than just to write. They go up top for Eddie, as he wants a superplex, but RVD counters by dropping it. It's like he pushes him, and RVD lands on the outside on his feet. Eddie lands on the top ropes. That's a great way to get out of it. He follows up with a handspring moonsault for 2. They trade roll-ups. Moonsault to the outside by RVD is nice. They brawl on the outside with RVD putting Eddie across the guardrail and doing that kick he does. All good. He goes for the Rolling Thunder, that misses. Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Eddie, and this is where Eddie sort of turns it up a notch and just makes me love him so much more than I already do. Because he does a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, he then does a standard backbreaker, he then spends the rest of the match working the back, which makes me very, very happy. Does like a surf, gets in a surfboard position, cranks him back with a face lock. That looks absolutely ridiculously painful. Then does a gory special as well, just to really fucking hurt the back. Does a leg lariat and a slingshot senton, followed by Ron that gets 2. Eddie's on fire, looks amazing. He does a vertical suplex, then a backdrop driver, then goes up, that gets 2. He goes up top to do a frog splash, but RVD stops him. So do you know what Eddie does? He does a sunset flip powerbomb, and fuck me, it's hard. It's one of those vaulted, get the fuck down powerbombs. Absolutely brilliant. It really does. That gets 2. Goes for another bomb, but a heel kick stops it. Eddie grabs the belt, but they sort of had a tussle with the belt, and RVD ended up getting it and whacking the referee with it. Eddie capitalises, hitting a neck breaker on the belt and a frog splash for the win at 11 minutes and 42 seconds. Eddie demolished RVD in this one. RVD, literally, he countered all his offense. So in some respects, it almost looked like a fucking squash match. In some respects, Eddie just looked superb. He looked so good. Looking like he hadn't missed a beat at all, which of course he hadn't. 3.5 stars, brilliant. And then it all goes down to shit, to be honest, because JR and the King sell whatever the Scorpion King like a bandit for a couple of minutes, and then we get Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is a truly crap match. It's for the #1 contendership, as I mentioned before. Undertaker had beaten RVD, Stone Cold had beaten Scott Hall. This is to crown the #1 contender. Nice and simple. I can't believe they're still having this match on pay-per-view. Remember last year at Judgment Day 2001, they had these two in the main event, and it was wank. Do you think they're going to get a good one? What's worse is that this one goes 27 minutes long, if you can believe that. They've got Ric Flair as the guest referee, and they're trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice by they're trying to do Ric Flair versus Stone Cold, authority figure versus Stone Cold. Of course it's going to fail. The character needs some new direction, it's just not getting it. You can see why Austin was pissed off. You really can. This match is so very bad. It's got things in it that I just really can't stand. It's got loads of botches in it, but it's just boring. The only thing that helps this match is the crowd. The crowd are really hot for a lot of it. There's bits where they get bored. Ric Flair, guest referee, 16 times or 18 times, depending on how you look at it, world champion, gets taken out with a shoulder block. Come on! I understand he's a fucking referee, but he's Ric Flair, for fuck's sake. Anyway, let's skip to the end because it's a lot of crap. Taker wins after Austin had grabbed a chair. Ric Flair tried to stop him using it. Undertaker boots the chair into Austin's face and covers for the 1, 2, 3. There's one little tiny weeny problem with the finish, and that is that Austin's foot's on the ropes, and Ric Flair, and I swear, if you don't believe me, you can go and look at this one, right, gets down on his knees to the cover, goes to count 1, but as his arm's up, he looks over at Austin's foot, and then counts 1, 2, 3. To get all that lovely heat back that he's just lost, Austin stunners Taker, and then in the back, Jonathan Coachman shows Ric Flair what's happened, and Ric Flair just goes, he's like, oh no, and Coach is like, well, how do you feel? He's like, oh shit. That was entertaining, but probably for all the wrong reasons. Billy and Chuck defeated Al Snow and Maven in a crap 1/4 a star match to retain the tag team championship. This was shit, nothing good in it at all. Finish is Rico tries to attack Maven. Maven hits a crossbody and he's sat there, come on, get up. Rico tries to interfere. Snow chases him off, but of course that leaves it 2-on-1. So a super kick from Chuck. Maven's down for the 1-2-3. And then there was this. Hollywood Hulk Hogan defeating Triple H in a crap match to win the WWF Undisputed Championship. This, for me, felt like one of those strike while the iron's hot sort of thing. Hogan's pops every time he come out since he came back from us have been ridiculous, and Vince, in his infinite wisdom, decided that those pops would transfer into buy rates. Let's make Hogan champion. Wow, that was a stupid idea, wasn't it? It completely failed on every single level that it can possibly fail. Match is 22 minutes long, and I swear on my life, you could cut off at least 18 minutes of that, and you'd still have what match you have. It's a 1-star match, right? It's not the worst of the night, but it's nothing special, and Hogan looks bad in it. It's face versus face, obviously, especially in the build-up. Triple H was a lot more heely, I thought. He shakes Hogan's hand at the end, so he's still a babyface at that. Triple H, I just need to point out before I talk about the finish, because that's all I want to talk about in this match. Triple H has got the WWF version of the Undisputed title belt, and it looks so beautiful. As you all know, I've got the Undisputed Championship somewhere. Can't remember where it is at the moment. I'd be going, look, the Undisputed Championship. But yeah, the WWF one just looks like a little bit prettier. I don't know why. I really don't know what it is about it. It just looks better. You know? Then comes Hogan hits a leg drop. I think Triple H kicks out, although I don't remember. He tries to go for another one and misses. Triple H hits the pedigree. 1, 2. Undertaker pulls the referee out. Oh no! He then gets a chair, hits Triple H with it. Triple H blades as he goes down, obviously. And basically, Taker puts Hogan on top of Triple H, but Hogan doesn't want it like that. He gets rid of Taker and hits another leg drop, and that we will happily count. 1, 2, 3. Hogan is your World Heavyweight Champion. Yay! Lucky us, eh? Yeah, Triple H and Hogan shake hands afterwards, which is lovely. And that is that. Another show. And this one isn't very good, is it? You've got 9 matches on this show. 3 are good. The opener is 2 stars, and then you've got Angle versus Edge is a good match, and Eddie versus RVD is a good match. The rest are completely avoidable matches. I mean, let me just go through. What's the highest rated match? You've got a 1 star. Half a star from Undertaker versus Stone Cold. 1 star because they adored the women's match. Is probably the best match on it that isn't one of those 2 I've just mentioned. That's saying something about a show, isn't it? That means we're going to give this one 4 out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this. Next time out, we're going to do Judgment Day, I think. We're going to do Judgment Day, we're going to do Insurrection. We're going to do one or the other. Keep watching this channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if there's people going, hey, where's the hell's Mark P gone? Let them know so we can get back up. We can get back up. We were on 400 subscribers. But come on, we were on 2,000 before. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I've been Mark P. I would love to know what you thought in the comments box below. And I will see you all very, very soon. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.